Okay, we are officially recording, beautiful lady. So,
Hey.
hey, so I remember when we first met. I remember I walked in the bank and you had these long legs and these high heels
Hey.
and you was just serious about it. Like you was not playing when it came to business banking and growing that
Yeah.
company. You remember that?
Yeah.
And I was
I
staring at
remember.
you and everything. I was staring at you like, what? What happened with Wells Fargo? Boy, oh boy, those were the good old days.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun there. Definitely. Yeah, I remember when I met you and
Mm.
they called me and said, "Hey, we got a business client that needs some assistance. It requires a senior level, if you could take a look at it." I said, "Okay, bring her in." And you came in and were like, "Listen." I
Girl,
said, "Okay, let's talk. What's up?" You know?
I was trying to build that company at any means necessary. I used to come in here all covered in drywall dust, but y'all
And
gave me so
paint.
much respect. I used to be tired talking junk.
Yeah,
Remember that? And
yeah,
you
yeah,
was like click 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 click. We're gonna do this and then this and that. And then I remember that. And if it wasn't for
yeah,
you and Jackie and the whole team over there at Wells
yeah,
Fargo, I
yeah,
honestly don't know where I would have been because the
yeah.
encouragement and everything was wonderful. You definitely are a fantastic businesswoman. I mean, you're
Thank
beautiful,
you.
but I'm not gonna
Thank you.
hold that as like that's your number one asset because we both know it's not.
Nah.
It's one of them, but your brain is serious.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you
with that
so
being
much.
said, we're gonna hydrate. I'm gonna snatch these glasses off,
Okay,
and girl, we're gonna
let's
get to
do it.
business.
I'm trying not to drink out my cup because all my lipstick and lip gloss I'm seeing on the top, and I'm like, let me just wait.
Mhm. Okay, well,
I wait.
okay, so now, Entrepreneur Pinks and Blues, number two, take one. All right, so feel free to we can stop and pause and do whatever we need to do. Ready
Okay.
and action. Hey everybody, it's me, Tracy Pinkhammer Mebane, and welcome to the Entrepreneur Pinks and Blues show. We have our special guest, someone that I absolutely love, bigger than life, our financial, let's see, our finance queen. Now, let me know, am I correct in saying that you are the one and only finance queen, correct?
The one and only, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Trademarked, registered, okay?
All
Yes,
right, all
definitely.
right, I remember that. I remember. I remember when you had to notify everybody they have to change their name. You remember that?
Shout out to my legal team, the Creators Law Firm. They don't play Sequoia
It
Davis and them. Yeah,
all right, all right.
yeah.
Chinyere Ulasi, she is. Why don't you tell them about yourself? So we're gonna start off, and I want you to tell them all the things that make you an entrepreneur because you do a
Ooh,
lot, right? And
yeah,
you do a lot.
yeah,
And not only do you do a lot, but you're international doing a lot, right? You're
yeah,
internationally, you travel, you have friends everywhere. You are
yeah.
definitely a queen when it comes to entrepreneurship as well. So tell
Wow.
the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Chinyere Ulasi. I was born and raised in the United States, but I am a proud Nigerian.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yes, so my dad is Nigerian, and so I was raised very much in a Nigerian household, and with those principles. So I just, Lord have mercy, I have the Finance Queen, which is my financial consulting firm, and I have my boutique, which is called Dalucci
Oh,
Boutique. Yeah,
beautiful. Mm.
thank you. And then I have my family foundation, which is the Chief Sylvanus Ulasi Scholarship Foundation, which honors my father and gives scholarships to students in Nigeria and then also here in the United States in Wake
Wait,
County.
Wait, back that up a minute. Was your
Hmm.
father the king?
No, he was not a
Okay.
king.
I did
No,
not. I'm
no,
sorry.
no, no, no,
I'm so
no.
sorry.
I don't want any problems here.
I
No.
bet.
He
I'm
was,
sorry. If we need to edit that out, honey, we will do that, okay? Because
please.
I don't want no
Well,
problems
no,
either. All
a
right.
chief. Yeah.
A
So
chief.
it's
Chief.
yeah,
Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. And he was a prince as well. So that's something
Wow.
that I
So
don't talk about, but because people think it's coming to America and it's not like that.
I can only imagine the trauma that causes. Okay, continue. I'm
Yeah, no.
sorry I interrupted.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just my brothers and I, we just were really sad over and over again, year after year. And so we just decided to honor him in giving back
Mm,
from what we were left. And we decided to give back in a form of scholarships. And
okay.
so yeah, I do that, and everything else is really community based. But I have had a foundation before, which was called the Pink Fruit Foundation, which mentored teenage girls ages 11 to 19.
Nice.
And then I authored a book as well, and so few things, and
Just a
some
few.
things, yeah, just a few,
And
you
you're
know.
leaving off some things. You have
What?
some first
Yeah.
time, the first time for the Nightdale Chamber of Commerce,
Oh
correct?
yeah. Okay. Well, that's sure.
That's
So
a
I.
big deal.
So I am the first African American female
Yes.
president of the
Mwah, mwah. Yes.
of the Nightdale Chamber of Commerce, and yeah, I am the only African American um, chamber president in Wake County. And so that is just awesome, as seeing as we are one of the fastest growing
Mm.
counties in the United States.
In the
So,
United
it says a
States.
lot
Wow.
in the United
Yes.
States, yeah.
Yes.
And, in the top 10 for business. So it says a
Mm.
lot about what we are doing in this area. And then I am the treasurer of a new organization to this area. We started a chapter called Umuibo Unite. It is a national chapter that it focuses on the Igbo community and our culture, networking, navigating that, and being in the diaspora of the United States. So it's a global organization, and so we just brought the first chapter here to North Carolina. So that's new, and I'm
Mm.
excited about that.
Oh my God, there's so much already. And I'm not to even mention the clients that you have and the way you have to travel and how do you fit it all in? Besides, um I think one of the biggest things is multitasking or multi managing sub companies, right? On top
Yeah.
of your main company. How do you what would be your advice as to help people on how to fit it all in so that those people that are stuck on just doing one thing, but they need multiple streams of income, and we'll talk about that, but they need multiple streams of income and they just don't know how to add one more thing on.
Definitely managing your time in a way that works effectively for you.
Mm,
Um, that's the most important thing. Managing your time and being organized. You have to have structure. Of course, as an entrepreneur, things come up. As a matter of fact, I plan for things to come up. And I believe that's how one of the reasons I'm able to stay organized.
mm-hmm.
Um, I found a system that works for me. I am an early bird. I've always gotten up very early.
Mm, mm, mm,
Uh,
mm,
you
mm,
know,
mm,
that's me.
mm,
I can't, that's why I said find what works for you, right?
right.
So I get up at 3 a.m. Um, I get up at 3 a.m. and I send emails, and sometimes I will go to the gym and do whatever work I need to do. And what I have found is that when people pick up their phone, the first thing they do is they check their email or whatever. So they're responding to my emails with a clear brain, right? First thing in the morning, rather than just picking up the phone and calling me. And so that allows me time. That allows me time to properly plan for my day based on their responses or whatever. And so that works for me. While people are sleeping, I start working, and then when I get up, when they get up, they respond. Now people know I'm up, so they calling me at 3 or 4 a.m. But
Sending text messages.
I probably shouldn't have said that.
Because now everybody's going to set their alarm to make sure they're first ones in before you get too busy. Don't blame me. Right? I just
Listen, I
prompted the
know how to go.
question.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, well, I know one thing about you, and this is, I personally know this about you, that as friendly and open and loving and receptive to everyone, different levels of business management or in their process of growing their business financially and everything, you give everyone love and respect, but you're really good at setting boundaries.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you said,
yeah,
and gently though. Like you're not like
yeah.
me. I'm like, look, I don't got time. What do you want? Like that's how I. And then people, they don't really like me. They try to pretend they do because they scared. But I know,
Oh
blah
my
blah. Back there's like
goodness.
she's so Brooklyn rude, but
No.
you're just such a class act with the finessing of gently moving people within your boundaries so that you can completely manage all of your businesses,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Mm-hmm. I love that
yeah.
about you. Mm-hmm.
Thank
Okay.
you. Everybody doesn't, but okay.
I'm not gonna say anything to those who don't like my Chi. I'm gonna behave myself. Don't let me find out. Okay, there's gonna be
No,
smoke all day.
no,
She is
no, no.
unbelievable. Okay, so why don't you tell us about your first time in the Chamber of Commerce as a black woman? Like that's a big deal. Why don't you tell me like what was the process or what was the
Yeah.
experience in achieving that?
Well, to be honest, this role of presidency to me, um, in every role that I take is a servitude role. And so I just look at it as I'm here to serve the business community. I don't look at it as more than that. I'm here to advocate for them. I'm here to make sure that they are heard, and that they have the tools that they need to be successful. So, but in terms of working within the chamber, I was an ambassador when I worked for for Wells Fargo Bank, and so I did a lot in the community then. So it just was kind of just navigating that terrain, but I just any title, any position I have, I recognize that those are just titles and positions. The work is in the work, so I don't get caught up in all that.
I have to say from personal experience as a young entrepreneur starting my business, remember I was transitioning over from being with my ex to breaking out on my own. Remember that? And I was
Yeah.
just a mess. But I mean, the way you empowered, you know, every young or new entrepreneur, they weren't necessarily young, but every new entrepreneur, the way you empowered them to feel strong in their commitment towards building their business, you are truly an ambassador. So I'm
Oh
vouching for
wow.
you.
Thank
You
you.
know, I
Thank
would
you. Thank you.
definitely I definitely would trust you with my firstborn. I would actually give you him at 28
Oh,
years old if you want
oh.
to just adopt. I'm sorry, I had to throw that in there. It just popped right out my mouth.
Your mama
He's
loves you to death. Don't let her fake. She faking.
I am fake. I am faking. I am faking. So let's transition into what do you do as the finance queen? Because that is a huge part of everything that you do. Because no matter what, you are always implementing the structure of the financial being of something wherever you go. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
So what I do is I tailor my clients' business needs or personal needs around their goals. And that's not something that has been done, I don't feel, in the past. So my clients will come in and say, hey, these are my goals. These are my financial patterns. These are my behaviors. And I literally figure out how to get them to those goals, those places. That's it. I have navigated enough financial terrain to know what they need to accomplish what they need to accomplish. That's all I do. That's it. I advise. People consult with me or members of my team, and we make sure that they're on the path to success, whatever that success looks like to them. So we tailor our financial consulting services.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so let me just tell you about the name of the show is Entrepreneur Pinks and Blues, and as you know, in being an entrepreneur, we have our pinks, which are our highs, and we have our blues, which are our lows, right?
My
And
God, my
I
God.
have to. I have to say that the reason I have you on here is not just because you're good at what you do, and I hope that everyone does reach out and and schedule an appointment and have a conversation. Especially, I know a bunch of you out there who you have no blueprint. You're just winging it. And you need someone who knows the banking system. You need someone who knows the entrepreneur system. You need someone who knows the marketing and the growing of the business system. Like these processes are so important. And to have someone that is definitely an expert in it in your corner is what where you need to who you need to be speaking to, because at the end of the day you can have a great bookkeeper and accountant, but they're not going to do what she does. It's just not going to happen. What Chinyere is doing, no one's going to do it, and they're not going to do it the way she does it, with love and servitude, like she said. So definitely. So let's start off with some of the pinks, right? So what have been your high points in being out here on your, because wait a minute, you were with Wells Fargo for how long, or can we talk about that?
Um, sure. I
Okay.
mean, I was with them, I want to say for almost 8 years, so nearly a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nearly a decade. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Okay. And then you branched out on your own. Was it on
yeah.
faith, or was it on you knew you were going to do it for those 8 years that you were there, and it was just like an executed plan of action?
Um, I knew that I wanted to teach financial literacy, and I wanted to see specifically entrepreneurs be successful.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that. And when my dad passed away as an entrepreneur, it pushed me forward. And then just ethics, being an African American during the Black Lives Matter movement. And it pushed me, it made my thinking change. And I was literally at the Rolls Royce dealership about to buy a Rolls Royce, looking
Mm-hmm.
at buying a Rolls Royce. And I literally heard God say, first off, I hate bad customer service. If anybody know me, they know I can't stand. I would leave a restaurant. I would, what? I can't stand it. And so I must not have liked the way that I was treated or handled or whatever, but I started getting annoyed. I thought it was the customer service. And I heard God say just very clearly to me, why would you buy a car
Mm-hmm.
with that kind of note?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of note is attached to a paycheck. And if you want to start your own financial firm, you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to leave because you're going to be tied to that thing. And so God had to break me away from that thing,
I
right?
love it. Mm-hmm.
And I removed myself, and I purged from social media for about 6 to 8 months, just nothing. I was like, no TV, nothing. I saw family, but I wrote, I planned, and that was that.
Wow, it's like a fasting of,
Yeah.
girl, I got goosebumps because I know that's
Yeah.
some that's a real, that's the beginning of it, because it isn't just about having a business and making money. It is a spiritual commitment. This thing here, it has its
Yeah.
own energy, and you can't do it without, you know, God. You can't do it without something leading you, or and the presence of God leading you. And I genuinely believe it, because there's times that I've had to just take the leap, and I did
Yeah.
it off of, like you said, you know, God speaking to me, or giving me a dream, or telling me it was okay. So these things are real, and I'm glad that you brought
Yeah.
that up. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so let's talk about what were some of the pinks when you took this leap of faith?
Oh man. First, for a year, I just didn't do anything for a year. And if you've ever seen a banker, they going nonstop.
Right.
You came to my office, there would be lines for 3 hours, waiting
Right.
for me. It was
Yes.
very difficult to get an appointment with me. And I didn't take lunches oftentimes.
Right.
So early in the morning, I would get up about, 5 or 6 a.m., do whatever I needed to do. There might have been a business, a networking, Toastmasters kind of event that I had to go to in the morning, a coffee meetup or something. And then I would work throughout the day. Then after work, there's another networking event of some sort every single day.
Wow.
And so there would be times that I didn't get home until 8 or 9 o'clock. I was straight up grinding, and then by that time I was asleep. And so I rested. Man, I rested for that
That's so
year.
good. Yes.
I rested. I cried. I laid
Mm.
around. I wasn't working. I didn't have any income coming in. And I just say, Lord, thank you, because I have always been very frugal.
Mm.
And, I cook and all that stuff at home. So I had a nice little nest egg, and so that was the first thing that I did. Was the first pink was I was able to breathe and laugh and exercise
Yes.
and
Yes.
cry, eat,
Oh
travel,
yeah, I
buy
remember
the
the
stuff I wanted to
transformation.
buy.
You went from beautiful to beauty queen. I remember that, Tracy.
Hey.
Yeah, I remember. I used to walk in. I was like, used to walk in. Everybody would stop. And, I mean, just those legs and those tits. You were already, but then I
Thank you.
remember the transformation. When I saw you, I was like,
Thank
holy.
you.
Uh huh.
So that was a big thing. I was able to rest and really enjoy me, all of me, and that was beautiful. Definitely traveling,
Mm.
um, just wherever I wanted to go. I traveled and met a whole lot of people. And the greatest thing was I was able to go to Nigeria.
Mm.
Um, by myself. A lot of people don't know that. I went to Nigeria for 3 months alone.
Oh, nice.
And that's unheard of, especially for a woman. But I did it because after my father died, I had to figure out how to handle things the way he handled things.
Mm.
And so I went to Nigeria and figured all of that out. So that was a wonderful pink. Uh, Another pink is I don't have to put in PTO
I
to
know that's right.
travel.
I know that. Wait a minute. I know that is right. And wait for somebody's approval.
Right?
What? What was that? That's not how we built. Mm-mm.
Right. I think that's the best part about entrepreneurship is freedom if you
Yes.
structure your business properly. Because you
Mm.
can also become a slave to your
Mm.
business. So
Mm-hmm.
learning how to put myself on PTO and
Right.
understanding, hey, nobody's paying these bills while you gone. So having
Ah.
structures in place where the business still is operational when you're not present.
All
So
right.
there's
Just real
that.
quick. Can I do a sidebar for that because that is a
Sure.
very important point. Um. And just real quick, a little backstory. I remember when I worked myself into high blood pressure
Mm,
and stomach issues. Um, and I couldn't understand the way that stress, the impact it had on the body,
hmm. Oh
right?
yeah.
And I learned quick that okay, while I'm not working, there's nothing coming in this house
That's
to
right.
to feed my lifestyle, just the basics, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just you brought that up, so
Yeah.
maybe you could drop a little bit of because this is still a pink when everybody gets to learn something from your perspective. Why don't you just enlighten people a little bit on that? You know, you are the responsible party for the income that you are creating and how to have some balance.
Yeah. First and foremost, when I first started, I recognized I was working sometimes 72 hours straight.
Whew.
Just, it was no sleep. and a lot of times with no money coming in,
Right.
just trying to show people what I could do.
Mm.
So there was that. And then I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm not eating the way I need to eat. My blood pressure was through the roof, like 231 over 115.
Girl.
Yes. So like real life stroke numbers, right? And I thank God, this might sound weird. I had to remind myself, your daddy died like this. My dad died
Mm.
from a heart attack. And he was an entrepreneur. And so I had to
Okay.
remind myself, hey, listen, when this life is over, it's over. So
Mm.
remember that. And I would talk to myself like, hey, breathe. So then I started going to the gym. And I would be in the gym from 5:30 a.m. sometimes to 2 p.m. And I realized I was running from whatever I had to do because I'm like, well, I'm in the gym, so I ain't got time to work, you know. And it made sense to me. I was like, well, I'm working out. I gotta, take care of my health. But then the money wasn't coming in, and so I had to figure out, okay, how do I have a healthy balance? How can I work out for, maybe 2 or 3 hours? Because exercise is therapeutic for me. My mind was clearing. So I had to figure out how to do that. And I recognized I needed to build a team. I needed to build partnerships. So, when I was down, my business was still functioning. It's funny that you talked about the blood pressure and stress because I don't think I've never said this because I didn't want my mother to be worried. Sorry, Mom. But I was traveling one time and I had gotten dizzy. Oh my gosh. I was walking through the airport and I was like, I'm going to pass out. I'm going to pass out. I'm going to pass out. And then I knew I'm about to get back on the airplane. So, the turbulence and I was just lightheaded.
Mm.
So when I came back, I went to the hospital and my thyroid levels were just
Oh.
so low. It was like I wasn't taking my thyroid medication because I couldn't afford it.
Mm.
I couldn't afford it. It was like a
Mm.
$300 copay. And as
Mm.
an entrepreneur, I didn't
Right.
have, those resources. Let's just be candid. And so, like a regular thyroid, I believe the function is anywhere between like 0 to 3.5.
Okay.
Mine was 231. So I literally was walking around, and I have the numbers in like a pretty much a coma state. Like I don't even know what was pushing me. Maybe it was because I was drinking green smoothies. I don't know. I have no.
Right.
I have
Right.
no
No, the facts. Green
idea.
smoothies, they give your body the nutrients to kind of self heal. So
Yeah,
it could have been,
yeah.
right.
It could have been that, but the doctor was looking at me like, "How are
How are
you?"
you still standing?
Like they couldn't understand. Like they were just like one point he just stopped and he's like, I don't understand. And so at that point, I had to recognize I literally could not get out of my bed. It was like I was in a coma. If I went to take a shower, I was exhausted after that. And so I let my friends know, like I can't function. I wasn't able to even at one point. I couldn't clean. I couldn't do anything. And so they helped me, and that took a lot too, because I'm a woman that prides herself
Right.
on how she shows up, how her house look, how I smell. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want nobody coming in my house and it doesn't look the way that I want it to look. And so I had to ask for help. And I went to the
Mm.
doctor and got myself together. And I was like, I'm not a superwoman. I need
Right.
assistance.
But I think
I need
it's
help.
power in being able to ask for help. Because when you
Yeah.
can't ask for help, it's a whole bunch of ego, and ego stands for etching God out. But when you can
Oh,
ask for
wow.
help, right, there's power in that, right? There's
Yeah.
power in
Yeah.
understanding that I need to live to see another day because this is a gift this life I have. And so
Yeah.
getting help is going to help me use the gift that I was given, what I'm here to do, and respect the father that created us. Like it's a big deal asking for help. And
Yeah.
I had to learn that. And when you're a powerful woman, sometimes we get confused between, asking for help, real help when we really need it, and being
Yeah.
weak. Right.
Hmm.
So mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
And
oh,
understanding that there's this strain that we put on ourselves specifically as black women that
say
we
it.
have to do that we
Say
have
it.
to do everything and that asking for help is weakness. But what I will
Mm.
say that I learned in corporate America is that asking for help is what helps you to catapult yourself to the next level. Because once you have learned how to navigate that terrain, you can do so much more and so much quicker. And so you're able to acquire more. Ask for help if you need help. It is not weakness. It, like she said, is strength. And, I was very close to my daddy, and when he needed something, he didn't say anything, really. He confided in me and he had a few friends, but he didn't say much. And,
Mm.
but everybody went to him for everything. But I was able to see him at his vulnerable place. And
Mm.
so I'm like, nah, I'm not having this conversation from the grave with anybody,
Mm. Right.
and so I'm asking for help if I need help.
Very good. That's very
Yeah.
powerful. That was very
Yeah.
helpful too for someone who's sitting there right now wondering what's wrong with them. Won't even get up and go to the doctor because they haven't passed out yet. And they're getting up
Yeah.
every day and just doing the bare minimum. Do you know how productive a person is when they feel better? Right, when they're
Hmm.
when their lifestyle is reflecting all their physical and mental and emotional energy inside is on a positive, right? And so it's a big deal, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're
Thank you.
healthy, and I'm glad
Thank
that you
you.
took that step. That's very important.
Yeah.
So okay, so
Yeah.
you were taking care. You decided you're going to take care of yourself
Yeah.
and dive into that. What other
Yeah.
pink did you have besides that you became aware of that you were the sole creator of your income and that you had to be healthy?
Um, I was able to work in my passion and
That's big.
completely, completely in my passion, which was financial education. As a banker, I worked in so many different facets from, investments and estate planning and community building and diversity and inclusion and business and loans and insurance and all of that. And, but my passion was always helping people have that aha moment.
Mm,
I can achieve this goal if my budget is here, or these are my goals. So I love to plan and help people get to the next level of their financial freedom. That was my passion. Everything else was great. The money was phenomenal.
right, right.
The money
How
was
about when you
phenomenal.
flip that when you flip from I might have to wait till next month to I don't have to wait at all.
Listen,
Yeah.
here, let me say this. People feel like you go into entrepreneurship and you're just making this money. Let me say,
Tell
no,
them.
that is a lie.
Tell
LIE.
them. Yes. Tell them.
Because and the thing is, you go from having a paycheck, like my life
Hmm.
was good,
I
right? Like I
know.
had my
Remember. I
clients.
remember those days.
Listen, I'll be like, listen, I'm stressed. I'm going to Jamaica tomorrow. Bye. I mean, you know it. You come in the office, I'll be gone.
Right.
Okay.
I
So,
remember
so
that.
I'm getting paid to de-stress or take vacations. When you work for corporate America, it is a blessing.
Right.
You got the income coming in no matter what.
Right.
And so I went from having steady income no matter what to boop, nothing.
Hmm.
So it was really a faith walk. But I was able to work in my passion and really pray and create strategies around how to continue to bring income in. And
Nice.
that was a wonderful pink.
Nice. Nice. I
Yeah.
remember going to your kickoff for your business. Um,
Yeah.
over there
Yeah.
at the top of the Wells Fargo. Girl, if there's anything you don't lack, it's a sense of humor because you sure did go right. I said she is. I know I'm not walking into the Wells Fargo building. Anyway, that was awesome. That was beautiful. The gifts, the it was so.
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
It was just a beautiful event. It was so elegant, so classy, so much fun, and I mean I
Yeah.
don't know how you pulled that off. I mean when it comes to like figuring out how to make something look like money, okay,
Yes.
I don't know what you spent, But I'm gonna tell you, it looked like we was gonna be on a yacht tomorrow. Like that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
Everything was color coordinated. The food, I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on? I was like, oh, she arrived. But that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be creative. You have to be able to show, because the marketing alone and the socializing and the networking. I mean, let's be honest. That's a lot of money. The traveling, even the gas that we put in our car to go to these networking events. I mean, everything is constantly coming out of our bottom line, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be smart in how you make it look for all the
Hmm.
people that will are your potential clients,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah.
your potential
Hmm.
vendors that you will use, right? So that
Hmm.
was beautiful.
Thank you.
So let's make this transition over to our blues, because I mean you could just share one. I'm not gonna I mean if you want to share it all, you know me, I do some tea. I We do tea here. But you know, the whole experience of communicating your blue, or the whole reason behind communicating your blue, is because we do make it look easy. I mean,
Yeah.
we that's our job, right? But there's someone right now who's looking at this and they just finished crying because they have, not enough money to pay the bills just to keep their business going, or they've had some family issues, a loved one or
Yeah.
a child or a spouse, or they physically don't feel well and they're trying to figure out how they're going to make all these meetings that they have planned for the week. I mean, there is someone out there who is going through something,
Ooh,
and the blue is to tell them don't give up, because if we made it, you can make it. So you have the floor.
man, I'm trying not to get emotional because what you're saying is so real. People see the pinks and they see the traveling, but they don't know about the health issues um, that put you down. And I'll go a step further. Um, Having the health issues and being alone.
Mm.
Um, you know, Still having to pay the mortgage, um, still having to pay the car notes and the bills that come up when you don't know how.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, here's a moment. I had a blue. I went to train new staff in Charlotte, and I was in Charlotte training staff, and I looked at my account and I saw almost $4,000 had come out, and I was like, "What is this about?"
Oh, I can only imagine what happened to your stomach at that point. Oh, go ahead. I'm listening.
Here's the thing. And I'll never forget this date. It came out April 1st. It came out April 1st. And I'm like, what is going on? I got the staff coming in. $4,000 just comes out of my account. What am I supposed to do? And it was a mistake. So, right. So in the end, I called, like, where's my money? They're like, oh, it was a mistake. And I'm like, okay, just give me the paperwork to show it was a
That's the.
mistake. Let me give it to the bank, whatever. To this day, I ain't seen this money. To this day. But it's so funny how God makes the way. Um, so they were like, they were trying to get me to give them more money. And I'm like, if it's a mistake, why would I give y'all money? But $4,000 at the beginning of the month. And I didn't know what to do. I'm like, my mortgage is about to come out. What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to get another $4,000? Just so happened that I had another bank that I had a business line of credit. So I was
Mm-hmm.
able to go pull from that business line of credit. That's one thing you want to protect is your credit. If you're thinking about going into entrepreneurship, you need to make sure your personal credit is on point because it is the catalyst for your business credit. Your business credit does not impact your personal credit. That's a free nugget, just so you
Right.
know. But if your personal credit is not right, you ain't getting nothing. So take care of that, please. So I was able
Mm.
to pull from my business line of credit and I went on with the employee training like nothing happened. Um, Thankfully, I had my American Express business platinum card, and so I
Mm,
had rooms available. I had the employee lounges available. I had lounges available. You know, they have the executive suites and all that.
right,
So that was a benefit of having my membership with Hilton and Marriott and all that. I get those free perks, and
right.
so I had my staff training right there in the executive lounge. My staff ate, good. And I
Mm.
went to dinner with a friend of mine. I had gotten my makeup done. We went dressed up. We went to a symphony
Oh,
in Charlotte. It
nice.
was like hip hop meets the classic Beethoven. It was crazy.
Oh, that's nice.
And
I
my
remember. I think I heard of that. Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. And
Uh,
so actually a previous banker that I worked with at Wells Fargo, who was living in Charlotte at the time, she and I went together, and then we went to dinner, and I was like, man, I'm so stressed. And we started talking. And she said, what would your father tell you to do? I said, my daddy would
mm.
tell me, enjoy your life. So I said, okay, what do I want to do? Because I was in my feelings. I'm like, this money just came out. I don't have a husband to help me. I can't go to my family and ask them for this kind of money. And I said, I want to enjoy myself. So I booked a flight from Concord to New Orleans, and I went to the Final Four
Mm.
and watched Duke play. I'm a
Mm.
Duke fan.
Right.
I'm a Duke basketball fan. I was like, I'm going to enjoy my life. And got a hotel room. Okay. You know, I'm gonna say this. I was in New Orleans. I went on a little date. Okay. Some
Ah,
guy asked, yeah, why not?
why
Some guy
not?
asked me
That's
out on a
right.
date. I said, let's go.
That's right. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You know, you got the wrong person on the other end. If you think I'm gonna say something, because I like, yes, date. That's your vacation, exactly.
And he was like, hey, I would love. I said, okay.
Okay.
Went, ate good in New Orleans. Had a
Mm.
wonderful time. I was, seated among some people were looking at me like, how did you get this seat? Who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm the
Right.
finance queen.
Well, you
So
get a
I'm giving
lot.
out my
You get a
card.
lot of that. You get a lot of like, because the way you command the room, like,
Uh,
who's that? Who's that?
I just
Who's she?
walk in.
Who is she? Like,
I don't say anything. I'm just
uh-huh,
like, hey,
uh-huh,
but it's just
mm-hmm.
God. It's just
Yeah,
God. And
yeah.
so, I met a whole bunch of clients. I was able to
Mm,
enjoy the game. I,
mm,
had a wonderful date. That was cool.
mm-hmm.
And, I still had a moment, but God was like, I'm not going to allow you to sulk.
Mm.
And this was, I wouldn't call it a blue, but mind you, I just had $4,000 taken out of my account.
Well, it is a blue because that's the classic example is how to take lemons and turn it into lemonade. Because you, without knowing that you were doing it, you set yourself up for if something bad happens, what's my plan B? You know,
Yeah.
and you just did it because you understand money, you understand lines credit, you understand credit, period. So you were just doing you, but it was the way that you turn those lemons into lemonade. And people do need to hear that because they may have some resources out there that they're not tapping into and they're
That
sulking.
that was another thing, right? It may not be. Listen to what Tracy just said. You have the resources and you're sulking. Now, I just told you $4,000 just came out of my account. I
In the
had
middle of something. It wasn't
in the
like you was
middle.
home watching Netflix in your
Yeah,
bed and realized
yeah.
that you were out doing something
I
at
was
that
out
time.
doing some stuff, so I took
Mm-hmm.
$300 in cash. That's all I had, and I was in New Orleans. And the funny thing is, I had an envelope. I paid for an Uber. I got some food, and I was walking through downtown New Orleans, and I saw a young lady. The guy that I had met. We were walking, and I saw a young lady. It must have been almost midnight, and I said, I saw a baby and a dog, and she was in a U-Haul, and I said, is she sleeping in that U-Haul? So I knocked on the window, and he like, this New Orleans, you can't do that. I said,
Right.
right?
But you bold
I
like
want to
that.
know.
Right.
I want to know. So I knocked on the window. I said, are you sleeping in this U-Haul? She said, no, ma'am. I said, yes, you are. Stop lying. So I walked
Mm.
over to her side, and I took $100 and I gave it to her because God told me to give it to her. I gave her
Mm-hmm.
$100 in my card, and I said, I need you to call me on Monday. If you want to talk, we can talk. If not, done. So she called me on Monday, and she said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm homeless. I was in an apartment complex, and they
God.
had mold. They had mold, and
And
so
she
they
had a
put me
baby.
out.
Mm.
Right, brand new baby, but they didn't want to be liable for the mold, so they put her on the street. So she's living in the U-Haul. And I said, okay. Now I met some people while I was at the Final Four. I met some people. I was networking, and uh, I said, okay. So I made a phone call with someone that I met, and I said, there's this young lady that needs a place to stay. She's homeless. I need you guys to find her a place. So she called me a few weeks later, and she said, I just want to say thank you. One of the agencies that you called just put me in an apartment for 7 months. They paid my rent.
Girl,
Right?
please. I
Right?
can't take it. I can't take the
I thought I
feelings,
was
the
going there.
goosebumps. I can't take
I
it.
thought I was going there for basketball.
But
And the
you went
Lord
there for.
said,
Mm-hmm.
her. And the Lord said to me, it was refreshing. He said, if you can open your mouth in a
Mm.
city that you don't know anyone in,
Right.
and you can put someone that's been there their whole life in an apartment for 7 months, do you think that I'm going to allow you to struggle? No.
Ah, wait.
Right?
I need a belt or something. Like what we doing here?
Right?
I need to
I'm just
clap.
saying.
I
This
this
is
and
I'm telling you the
that.
truth. And
Yes.
so I was like, and the Lord said,
Yes.
your gift is speaking for people. It's
Right.
advocating for people. It's
Yes.
your boldness that I put in you, right?
Mm-hmm.
To step out and help people and be strategic and figure things out without them feeling embarrassed.
Right.
That's how I move. Yeah, you
Right.
need help, and I'm gonna help you. I don't care if you like it, whatever. I don't
But
care if it don't
listen.
feel warm and
Mm-hmm.
fluffy. That's who God made me to be. No, your finances are not where they need to be, but we're gonna get them there. That's who
Right.
I am. So
And then that is how you remember what I was saying earlier. You have that compassion when you're doing your business. It comes across that light. It comes out, and even with me when I was starting out, I mean, I was literally doing the work. I mean, I
yeah,
still have scars on my body from drywall. Does remember how dirty I used to be, paint covered? I was busted looking. I
you are
mean,
beautiful.
oh, you're so sweet, and I
You
remember
look like
how.
hard work. Okay.
I remember. I remember the love and the respect. And then here it is, how many years later? And I still can say I love and respect you. We don't even have to talk to each other every day. But you
Yeah.
have been tried and true and consistent in your love in the way that you do your business. And that's
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
important. And so anyone that's listening to this, if you are not sure, okay, you have different resources or not enough resources, or you have things that you don't know how to use as a resource, and it comes to finances, then this is who you need to call. Contact. I'm sorry, the information is at the bottom of the screen. Um, so let's do a takeaway from all of this because I'm feeling all warm and fuzzy. I'm feeling
Yay.
like I need to go and play some gospel music and have a good shouting fest. I'm not lying. Like I'm getting ready to go in there, some Tasha Cobbs. Praise him, praise him. I'm just gonna be in it because there is
What?
something right about what you're laying down for this whole. The meaning of this show was to enlighten people on this side of it, right?
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
there's so much that we just don't know, and we think it's all about get doing something and getting a check, but we both know that that's impossible.
It's
This is a whole
impossible.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
however you were created to be with your gifts along with your education, your experience, your abilities, it all gets balled up into one human being, and you got to let your light shine,
That's right.
and that's what you do. And
Yeah.
she is Pinkhammer approved. You hear me? Pinkhammer approved.
Well, thank you.
All right, so if you could give one piece of takeaway, one piece of advice for young people to take away before we sign off. And before we sign off, I need you to say out loud all of your social, remember, I mean, they could always rewind and record it or whatever, your
Yeah.
social media, whatever, whatever, however way you want people to know about you and read up on you. I think I have a bio of you posted on social media, but before we leave, make sure you read that off to them so that they could write it down. But
Okay.
and then of course it's also at the bottom. I'm pointing at the screen like y'all can see it, but it's also at the bottom of the screen. So go ahead and give me a takeaway for somebody who is um someone who, let me give you a scenario. Me, I am, this is 15 years ago, and I am breaking my neck every single day.
Yeah.
And I have a dream. And there is absolutely no one in my family because, again, where I come from, no one, everybody's working. They go to work,
Mhm.
they come home, they put into their pension, they have a little savings, get a mortgage, try to pay the mortgage off before they die. Um, you know, there was no blueprint for someone like me. You
Mhm.
know, and still, I'm hard headed though. You already know that, but there was no blueprint, no financial blueprint for someone like me. So, for those people out here that are starting out, have no financial blueprint print to follow, have absolutely no mentors in their life, what would you say to them?
I would say, for one, the main thing is you want to take care of your credit, please. You want to lean into your business credit, and bank on that. Pay your business credit back, um, and hold on to your capital, or invest some of it in index funds, or just whatever works for you. See your financial advisor, your financial planner, and see what works. Everything does not work for everyone. That's another thing that I would say. Please don't listen to this person tell you they did this, or this person on YouTube, or this person. No.
Right.
Uh, Financial planners, advisors, CEOs, what, you can't even do that. We can't give
Mm.
blanket advice, which is why these YouTube people are giving all this information, right? Um, but I would say really, really figure out what it is that you want to do and plan. And you can't plan for everything. I mean, you just can't. You can't plan for everything, but really understand who you're marketing to. um, be susceptible to everyone not liking your idea. This is your baby, and you think everybody wants this baby because this is your baby, and you find out some people like, I don't want that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Go ahead, continue.
Girl, I don't want that. They got that over there. You know, you just, so be susceptible to change.
Mm.
It's okay to pivot. You don't have to keep
Mm.
beating the same dead horse to prove a point. I know people want this cocoa butter scented deodorant. No, they don't.
Ah,
Right? Be susceptible to pivot.
I'm
Don't
holding
let
on.
your ego have you broke.
Ah, oh my God, I'm
I
tired
know
of
everybody wants this natural
it.
deodorant. Girl, they still stink. The product don't work. Right? Girl, you got to be able to pivot.
Pivot, isn't
Like
it?
maybe I need to put some more baking soda. Go back to the drawing board. It's
She said,
okay to pivot.
pivot. Isn't it?
Pivot, right?
It'll be stuck. It'll be stuck. Right. And again, there's a lot of information out there, like she said. But these people are also trying to make a buck off of you. They want you to just pay $10.99 for this package, right? That doesn't
Mm,
mean that that information is something that is should be a part
accurate.
of your vision, right?
Yeah,
Because it's your business that you're building. It's like growing a child. For every child that is an individual personality, you have to treat them differently according to their
that's right.
personality. That's what this is like. So that's why you have
Yeah,
to go to her, because what she'll do is she'll scan the way you
everything.
live, the way you move, the way what you need, what your whole idea for the future is, and where
Yeah,
you at right now, and then
yeah,
custom design a financial plan for you.
Yeah.
right? And I
Hmm.
want, and this is such an important part of growing your business. Um, I made the mistake of leaving it down to the wayside. So when something happened to me and I was physically unable to work, it all caught up with me because it's, I mean, that's how it does. It's like a powder cake and it'll blow. So
Yeah.
take my advice. Give her a call. No, don't call her. Get on her. Go to her website. Don't play
Do
with
whatever
me.
you want.
They could call you.
No, they
You
can. I mean, they can call my office. They probably ain't
right,
gonna get me, but
right. Call the office. Make an appointment. You heard what I said. Go on the website. Fill out. Isn't there a questionnaire or something on the website
Hmm.
for them to
Yeah.
fill out? Fill that
Yeah.
out. Right. Get in touch with her. Talk to her and be ready to work. Don't be like me taking up her time. I wasn't even ready. I knew that. She was so nice. She's like, you're not ready. And she didn't say I wasn't ready, but I drove away going, damn, I wasn't ready. So, and the reason I said I wasn't ready because I wasn't ready to do the work. Not that she wasn't
Hmm.
ready to work with me, but I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to commit to doing the work. So I'm saying be ready. This is something very important. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So why don't you tell everybody how they can reach you
Hmm.
other than just your website?
Yeah. So you can find us on Instagram at the underscore finance queen. Our logo looks like this. Um, it looks like this. So the
Let me
finance
see.
queen. Um, doo, doo, doo. So that's what we look like at the underscore finance queen. And yeah, so on Instagram, I am not as active as I need to be probably on YouTube, but you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook and all that other stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, my website is the primary contact method.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I'm urging everyone to jump on this. This is a jewel that I'm dropping for you with the Pinkhammer love involved, like I said. And I wish you all the success and all the
Thank you.
love.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
sharing. And
Yeah.
this was great. Thank you.
I want to say thank you for this show. Uh, entrepreneurs oftentimes don't have anyone pushing and giving that, you got it, and talking about these hard moments. And so people are leaving work in groves, and not recognizing what it really takes to be an entrepreneur because you got these people on social media that are getting paid off of clicks and likes and reels and not really what they're claiming that they can do. uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know and so they're not telling you the real about entrepreneurship. They getting paid off of reels. Okay, you can
Mm-hmm.
know that. That's what
Right.
they making money from, your clicks and whatever. But and I'm not saying that that's wrong, because they're making their money that way. But the reality of entrepreneurship is it is not easy by any
Right.
means.
Right.
And so I'm grateful that you are using your platform to enlighten people and share with them, hey, you have to plan. Hey, these are the structures that are in place. So I applaud you for that. I think that's
Thank you.
phenomenal.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Oh,
Yeah, you're
goodness.
welcome.
All right. I love you so much.
I love
And
you too,
stop making me bust. I can't laugh quietly.
girl. Who said you got to be quiet, girl? Get loud, okay? Who said it?
Thank you so much. And I'm going to
You're
talk to you
welcome.
later. And
All
if you need
right.
me in the meantime, give me a holler.
Okay. Love you. Love y'all. Thanks for watching.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.